BJP is all set to fulfill its 25-year-old promise of making the Ram Mandir with its inauguration on 22nd January. This has been part of their election promise since 1996, almost every single year. But the road to this day started almost 500 years ago and has been filled with conflicts, sacrifices, and most importantly, a game of politics that most people don't want to see. Babur, the first Mughal emperor of India and the founder of the Mughal Empire, is said to be the reason why the whole conflict started. It is believed that one of his generals, Mir Baqi, built the Babri Masjid in 1528 on his orders. According to the locals, it was built after demolishing a temple which was on the birth spot of Ramji. This belief became stronger around 1813 when East India Company surveyor Francis Buchanan reported that he found an inscription on the mosque's wall which supported this fact. However, this didn't really stir up the issue that we've seen recently. The first recorded instance of religious violence in Ayodhya occurred in 1855 when people from the Muslim community claimed that the Hindus had destroyed a mosque 1 kilometer away from Babri Masjid to build the Hanuman Gadi temple. They charged on the Hanuman Gadi temple to try and destroy it, but were pushed away and had to hide inside the Babri Masjid. The mosque then was attacked by Hindus in the process. Since then, local Hindu groups made occasional demands that they should have the possession of the site and that they should be allowed to build a temple on the site, all of which were denied by the British government. Then, in 1915, the Hindu Mahasabha was born out of the Indian National Congress as a necessity to represent Hindus in India, which would eventually change the course of our entire Indian politics. On 30th January in 1948, a prominent member of the Hindu Mahasabha, Nathuram Godse, shot and killed Mahatma Gandhi. You might be wondering why I'm talking about this, but every incident I talk about in this video leads to the ultimate result of what happened on the 6th of December 1992. The assassination tarnished the image of Hindu Mahasabha, and you know the rest of the story. Although the Hindu Mahasabha distanced themselves from Nathuram Godse when the assassination happened, in the last few decades or so, the organization actually started supporting his move, even laying the foundation to build a temple for him in 2017 in Gwalior. He has garnered a lot of sympathy in the recent history, but that's a story for another day. 2 years before this incident, in 1946, an offshoot of the Hindu Mahasabha called Akhil Bharatiya Ramayana Mahasabha had already started the agitation for the possession of the site. And in 1949, Sant Digvijay Nath, a prominent member of the Hindu Mahasabha, along with ABRM, organized a 9-day continuous recitation of Ramcharitmanas starting from 13th December. Now, here is the connection with Gandhiji's assassination. Digvijay Nath had been in jail for 9 months after Gandhiji's assassination because he had given a speech 3 days before the assassination asking the Hindu crowd to assassinate Gandhiji. He joined this movement because he wanted to try and repair as well as garner support from the crowd for himself and the Hindu Mahasabha. Anyway, at the end of the 9 days on 22nd December, ideals of Ramji and Sitaji miraculously appeared out of nowhere in the masjid, or at least that's what they wanted people to believe. But in reality, 50 to 60 people led by Baba Abhiram Das jumped into the complex and placed the two idols late at night. Although there were witnesses, no action was really taken. The then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru insisted that the ideals should be removed. However, the local officials refused to carry out orders, claiming that it would lead to communal riots. The police locked the gates and the public could not enter. However, the ideals remained inside and priests were allowed to perform daily puja, essentially meaning that the mosque had been converted into a de facto temple. This began the court proceedings with both the Uttar Pradesh Sunni Central Waqf Board and the ABRM filing a case in a local court, staking their respective claims to the site. The land was declared to be under dispute since then and the gates remain locked. The next push for the Ram Mandir came in 1964 with the formation of Vishwa Hindu Parishad, who intensified the movement with a lot more agitation. The tensions between Hindus and Muslims were also rising in the 70s and 80s, but the Hindus were believed to be working in separate groups amongst themselves. This was a great time for the BJP to enter, who came into existence in 1980 after Janata Party. They fought the 1984 elections but ended up winning only 2 seats under Atal Bihari Vajpayee. This is when LK Advani took control and positioned BJP in such a way that the party till today benefits from it. You'll understand soon. Now starts the most important 3 years in the history of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. In 1989, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad did the Shilanyas, or the foundation stone laying at the disputed site, with the agreement of the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. Communal tensions were high, which is why the government urged VHP to do it outside the disputed site, but the VHP defied the government. According to an Indian Express article, on November 9th, a congregation of VHP leaders, including sadhus, dug a pit to lay the Singh Dwar, or the main entrance, clearly on the disputed land, defying the agreement they had made with the authorities. Then, the next year in 1990, LK Advani, who was the BJP chief then, began his infamous Rath Yatra from Somnath in Gujarat to Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh to make people aware of the Ram Janmabhoomi issue and to raise support for the call of a Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. While it was under the banner of religion, it was also a political act. This helped the BJP unite the Hindus in the country, increasing the party's vote bank from 85 Lok Sabha seats in 1989 to 120 in the 1991 general elections. The Rath Yatra also led to communal violence in Gujarat, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh. Advani ji was ultimately arrested during the Yatra in October 1990 in Bihar at the orders of the then Chief Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav. Before Advani ji's arrest, Lalu Prasad Yadav made a heartfelt speech which makes total sense even in today's political, communal and social landscape in India. Then came the final day. On 6th December 1992, a mega rally was organized by the VHP, BJP and RSS in the presence of the then BJP President Murli Manohar Joshi, then UP Chief Minister Kalyan Singh, LK Advani and Uma Bharti, who later became the CM of Uttar Pradesh. This rally triggered chaos in Ayodhya. Babri Masjid was attacked by hundreds of car sevaks and brought to the ground in a few hours. The demolition triggered deadly religious riots across India, leading to widespread communal violence, death of over 2,000 people, which are just the official numbers, and loss of property worth 9,000 crores. This was felt most in Mumbai because it was fueled by the Shiv Sena. The event also led to increased religious polarization and tensions across the country. Kalyan Singh had to resign from this chief minister post on the same day, and the president's rule was implemented, which followed for the next 1 year. 10 days after the demolition, Librehand Commission was formed by the then Prime Minister Narasimha Rao to look into the circumstances leading to the event and the communal riots. The commission was originally supposed to submit its report within 3 months of the formation, but it submitted the final report on 30th June 2009, almost 17 years after it began its inquiry. It took 17 years apparently because it was a one-man commission which faced several legal challenges from the VHP and BJP to allegedly delay the process, and the witnesses were not ready to open up. According to the report, top leadership of the RSS, VHP, Shiv Sena, Bajrang Dal and the BJP bear primary responsibility for the demolition. The commission said that it stands established beyond doubt that the events of the day were neither spontaneous nor unplanned nor an unforeseen overflowing of the people's emotions. However, in 2020, the special CBI court cleared all 32 accused persons, including BJP veteran Advani, Joshi and Uma Bharti, of all charges. But coming back to the story. Things were all quiet for almost 10 years till the horrifying morning of February 27, 2002, when 59 Hindu pilgrims returning from Ayodhya were killed in a fire inside the Sabarmati Express in Gujarat. Right after the incident, widespread communal violence broke out across the state of Gujarat, and the riots continued for 3 days, which claimed more than 2,000 lives. Many brutal killings and rapes were reported, as well as widespread looting and destruction of property. All this occurred within just 4 months of Narendra Modi becoming the Chief Minister of Gujarat for the first time. This spoiled the relation between Hindus and Muslims even further and garnered more support for the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. In 2010, the Allahabad High Court ruled that 2.77 acres of the Ayodhya land should be divided into 3 parts, with 1/3 going to the Ram Lalla, represented by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, 1/3 going to the Sunni Central Waqf Board, and the remaining third going to Nirmohi Akhada, another Hindu religious denomination. This went to the Supreme Court in 2011, who agreed with this judgment. But the case was picked up again in 2019, and on 9th November 2019, the Supreme Court, headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi, announced their verdict, cancelling the High Court verdict. The court ruled that the land belonged to the government based on tax records and ordered the land to be handed over to a trust to build the Hindu temple. It also asked the government to give an alternate 5 acres of land to the Sunni Central Waqf Board to build the mosque. The Archaeological Survey of India, during excavation of the site, had found remains of a temple there, which was later used as evidence in the Supreme Court of India. An interesting side note is that Ranjan Gogoi got nominated by the then President Ram Nath Kovind to become a member of the parliament in 2020 after he retired as CJI. This raised major concerns about the fact that he had handled key cases for the government right before joining the government. Finally, on 5th February 2020, the government made an official announcement for a trust to build the Ram temple there. It also allocated an alternative site in Ayodhya to build a mosque, whose construction began on 26 January 2021. Ram Mandir now is all set for a grand inauguration on 22nd January. Interestingly, the disputed land was only 2.7 acres, while the entire Ram Mandir complex, once it's fully constructed, would be spread over nearly 70 acres, in which the temple has been constructed on the same 2.7 acres piece of land which was disputed. The construction of the entire complex will only be completed by 2025. So this was the entire story of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it and subscribe to our channel for more such content.